footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich. That's Emery Huntazar. The playbook bringing you an AFC Divisional playoff. The Ravens move on after winning in New England. They now take on the #1 seeded Indianapolis Colts. These teams met Week 11 in Baltimore, and the Colts got a 17-15 win courtesy of a Flacco pick down close near the end zone. They love this heavy formation. The Ravens with the run game, the big offensive line is playing out well. But talk about tying up loose ends and really stepping on the team's throat while they have them down.
Well, when you have to tie up loose ends if you're the Ravens, what I mean by that is no penalties. Penalties hurt these guys all the time. They're over-aggressive. They're one of the most penalized teams. Their aggressiveness leads to penalties, late hits, or just unsportsmanlike face masks and stuff like that. So you want to contain the penalties and no turnover. You saw last matchup, they turned the ball over. Every turnover was huge for these guys. That really cost them the game in essence. So they can't turn the ball over because you don't want to give a chance, a team like Indy, another chance with the football. So you really have to tie your loose ends, like you mentioned, with penalties and no turnover. That's huge for these guys.
Yes, absolutely. How could you win a game? Flacco only 4 completions. So they're going to need to throw the ball, because what Indianapolis lacks is a strong secondary, because it's injury depleted and they're young back there. They got a good front seven. They're going to go against a great run game of Baltimore, but you're going to have to throw the ball somewhat against the Colts to win it. Talk about the mental aspect of the Ravens.
Well, you look at the quarterback of the Colts, which is Peyton Manning, and in turn you look at the quarterback of the defense, which is Ed Reed. Ed Reed was able to pick off Peyton Manning last game. We picked him off once, which is a huge pick. He playing center field, so he's going to read Peyton Manning. Wherever Peyton Manning goes, that's where Ed Reed's going to drift. So they have to win that chess matchup. Also, you look at the center of the Colts versus Ray Lewis, the quarterback of the linebacking core. So there's going to be a lot of chess matches in this game. Can Ed Reed read Peyton Manning's mind, and can Ray Lewis be able to pick off signals and really dismantle that run game and get the defense lined up in position to make plays? That way he'll free up Suggs on the outside to put the pressure on Manning. They have to really win that. It's a chess match. They have to really win the middle game.
Reed has some great instincts, one of the best in the game, but this front seven looks like it's back to its old self. The physical play, talk about that. With Suggs back, the front seven is playing a lot better.
Well, you look at the Colts. The Colts probably don't want to be classified as a finesse team, but the way you beat up a finesse team is you have to be physical. They have to Ravens were able to out physical the Patriots, so they're gonna have to do the same thing against the Colts. You got to be physical with those wideouts at the line of scrimmage. You got to be physical with Adai and Brown in the backfield. You really have to be physical at the line of scrimmage with Dallas Clark. You can't allow Clark to get a free release. If you allow Clark to get a free release, then you're dead in the passing game. That is key. You have to beat up on Clark at the line of scrimmage. That way Peyton Manning has to really scan the field quickly, because he wants to look at Clark first and then look to the flanks, but you really have to beat up Clark.
And this front physical, deep front seven is making a lot of plays, so that's helping the secondary, which is getting torn up. Like, they had Dominique Fosworth and Chris Carr now with Ladarius Webb. He was playing a lot, the rookie, so they really need to continue that to have success.
Well, because you look at the secondary of the Ravens, you have injury reserve. You have Webb is going to be out. You look at Fabian Washington, played in the last game, but he's out. He's hurt, so he's on injury reserve. So that secondary for the Ravens is going to have to really tighten up, because they're thin. They're really, really thin. So you're going to have some opportunities where they're going to be some holes, and they're going to have to really tighten up and play defense.
Absolutely. And I think Indianapolis, they can't get one-dimensional on them, keep throwing the ball. They need to run the ball with a die. But let's talk about how they match up with Baltimore.
Well, you look at the matchups between the Colts and the Ravens, and it's a good one. I think they have to really match up on the tackles. Ben Grubbs and Michael Orr, can they stop the outside rush of Freeney as well as Robert Mathis? Freeney is only 6'1". You look at across the board, Gaither is the left tackle, for the Ravens. You look at Gaither, 6'8". That's a matchup by design, because he's gonna have to get low in order to get Freeney away. So they're gonna be able to match up and be able to outrun, those tackles to the point of attack, which would be Flacco. So they really have to match up well and protect these guys up front. Also, you look at the matchup of offensive line. The Ravens' strength is down the middle of the field, from safety to linebacker to that D line. Even though they keep Haloti not on the end, but they really strong up the middle. So they're going to have to do a lot of outside running, attack the Ravens on the perimeter. That's where you match up well. Get these guys in space, make Suggs cover, make all those talented linebackers they have, Ellerby and company, make those guys cover, and that way you have some success matchup-wise.
Absolutely. Now the pass game, you know, they've stepped up with rookies Austin Collie and Pierre Garçon. Manning is making them bank because they look money in his offense. Of course, Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark. How is that pass game going to match up with the Ravens secondary, who's had problems all year until recently?
Well, Manning would love to just go deep and throw the ball, stretch that defense out vertically, but really the matchup is short to intermediate passing game. The Patriots are able to get their way back in the game with the short to intermediate passing. And you look at the Colts, they do have the matchup for that as well too. So Peyton Manning will love to he will get the ball out quick if the pressure is coming. So those short to intermediate pass routes are going to be open. Your in routes, your comebacks, your hitches, your slants, all of that is going to be open against this aggressive defense because that's what they're going to give you, and take what that defense gives you in the passing. I think Peyton Manning, MVP, I think he knows that.
And the Colts want to maximize possessions because you know what Baltimore wants to do, keep Peyton Manning off the field. They want to minimize the amount of possessions he gets. Talk about Flacco's health.
Well, Flacco may be a little injured, and he may be not letting on what his true intentions are, and rightfully so. I think that hip has really bothered him more so than what he's leading to us to believe. So I think they really have to get after Flacco, and the way you put Flacco in a position to show that he's healthy, you got to load up and stop the run. They have to be active. That front seven has to be on the other side of the line of scrimmage, stopping the run, because the Ravens are going to try to slow the game down and minimize the possession of the Colts. So stopping the run will put the Ravens and Flacco in pass situations. I like the Ravens in this matchup. The Ravens have the key to win this ball game. Run the football, good defense, limit possessions. They could have won the last matchup if it wasn't for turnovers and team discipline. I think they're going to tie this up, and they have the key to win this game. I think they beat up the Colts physically on both lines of scrimmage and force these guys into a close game in which they'll win.
Ray Lewis looks excited, and a Ray Lewis-led defense. Ed Reed healthy, Terrell Suggs. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think Indianapolis is really going to regret sitting out those last two games and not taking momentum into the playoffs. Ray Rice is looking unbelievable with that offensive line. Ben Grubbs at guard. Gaither's been pretty good. Michael Ower's been pretty good. Matt Burke, I mean, no one talked about this. This guy's a veteran center. He's one of the best in the game. Marshall Yanda, they have depth, and they just run the ball beautifully. So let's go with the Ravens here.
And you also look at tight end Todd. He got hurt last game. He says he might be he's healthy enough to play, but even if he doesn't play, they still have L.J. Smith, a talented tight end. And if they have both guys at their disposal, that's how you stretch out the defense, and you can run the football because now you have two talented tight ends, and you know they go 3 deep at the tailback spot.
Yes, we're picking against Peyton Manning. Call us crazy, but we're doing it. Baltimore Ravens. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL.